It was supposed to be so easy. Just take back the DVD, withdraw that extra money, tell Mum I wouldn't be back for tea, then grab my savings and hurry. So first, to get the bill back in time, to avoid that big fine, I had to do a fast hill climb, but a faster decline. But I flew a bit quick, arms like a lunatic. I had to stop for a few ticks, I started feeling sick. Got to the video shop in a state, but chuffed it wouldn't be late. Only when he flicked open the case, I'd left the disc at my place. Today I have achieved absolutely now. In just being out of the house, I've lost out. If I'd wanted to end up...
My name's Nick Pitt, a reserve manager at Farnborough Old Boys Guild. 30 years old, from Bromley, and I'm now entering my 4th season as player manager of the reserve team. So, I mean, last season we started really strong. You know, we were looking at a team that could really do some damage, and you know, the boys are playing well. We had a strong pre-season. We lost one game to a Sevenoaks side, Potters FC, I believe it was, good side. Lost to a penalty, which is hard to take. Season progressed well, as I said. Started really strongly, really well. We got to sort of like November, December, and we still hadn't lost a game. And you know, when you get to that point, you start to think, okay, you know, we're starting to look like good for the title. And at that point, we were weighing up the league, and there was us, there was Meridian, and there was Houston, who were all doing bits in the league. I think we sat second from about, it must have been end of September, and we never left that spot for months. Got halfway through the season, and again, you know, you're starting to sort of dream a little bit now, and you're starting to think, okay, like, where do we want to lift that title? What game? Like, do we want to do that? And unfortunately, we now land ourselves in the position where this horrible virus has caused us to stop. We'd had some tough games lined up towards the end of the season, and we were due to play Houston twice, who were unbeaten in the division. We were due to play Meridian again, but as I say, we were stopped, and unfortunately, we now need to look towards next season. And we need to rectify that, and we need to come out all guns blazing for next year, and we really need to go for the title next year. So I started at Farnborough about 6 or 7 years ago now, with the Sunday Reserves, which is now run by Matt Ellis. The Invincibles, the champions, have won everything in the OBG SFL. I was there for 2 years. I then came to the Saturday Reserves under James Pine. I was there for a year under James, and me and James were quite close friends, and we, for whatever reason, we started talking, and I think it was him, he didn't play, he come from not necessarily a footballing background, but once he started playing, he suffered quite a few bad injuries, and I think he wanted to get back into playing. So he said to me, look, Nick, we met in a pub one afternoon, he said, look, do you fancy it? I said, you know what, fuck it, why not? Like, I'd had previous management experience with a team in the Orpington and Bromley, which was the South London Alliance at the time. And I'd had a year with a local team called Chatterton Town. Only a team that I'd started with myself, my brother and my dad. We were there 2 years. So that was really my only experience in terms of management. But now I've been at Farnborough for, this would be my 4th season, 3 as a manager. And I'm really enjoying it. All the boys are terrific lads, and I really feel like I'm coming into my own. As I still like to play, and I still feel like I can play. You know what it's like being player manager, you get the final say. Being a player manager it's an interesting one, because a stereotypical view of a player manager is, he's going to play himself every week. He's going to do things the way he wants to do, and half of that is true. But I'd like to think I'm a little bit different. If I know that I'm not playing well, or there's other people in the side that are better than me, then they will play. If they're committed, they pay the subs, they're here on time. All little things like that all makes a difference. But just touching on that again, I mean, I want to play for as long as I can feel I can play. I'm 31 this year. I'm obviously not getting any younger. I know age is just a number, but you've also got to be realistic as well, you know. So if you've got, you know, 17, 18-year-olds in your side that are running at 100 miles an hour down the wing, and you pick yourself over that player, then questions need to be asked. So, I'd like to feel I could probably continue for another 4 or 5 years. We've got some lads here that are 36, 37 plus, and they're still playing, and they're still playing well. So I'd like to still think I can do bits when I want to. But I definitely feel like I'm in the chance at the minute. Yeah, definitely. So I'm also part of the Selk Grassroots podcast, which is a podcast run for Grassroots football by Andrew Wheaton. Most of you know him as the big bald-headed referee. That's what he is. But I'm now part of a charity that he and myself, which was based on mental health and raising awareness for that, which for me is so current in football, not only just in life but in football as well. And it all started about a year ago, and he asked me if I wanted to come on the podcast a couple of times, so I went on. And he said that there might be an opening for the Saturday Manager podcast. At the time, it was a guy called Tristan from Wellintown Reserves. And the man's very opinionated. I think he's upset a few people in his time. And him and Andrew agreed to go different ways, or separate ways. And I stepped straight in, and I said, that was about a year ago now. And it's my time to look at my team. It's my time to tell you guys about my team, about what we do, about how we're getting on, the ins and outs of our football. And it gives me a chance to give my opinion on everything. You know, if I'm looking at the results across our division, then I will give my honest opinion. Doesn't always go down well. We played South East United first game of the season. We beat them 5-1, and I slaughtered them because they were crap. I got some stick on Twitter about it from the boys at South East, and I just said to them, look, if you play well and you play good football, I'll tell you that. But if you play shit, I'll say that as well. So it's a good chance for me to let you guys know what's going on at Farnborough, what's going on with the reserve team, and it's also a good way for me to give out my opinions and my views on grassroots football. So if I had to pick maybe 2 games from last year, 2 difficult games, I'd probably say the first one, surprisingly, was a home game. It was a home win against South East Reserves. The reason that game was hard was because we had 13 players. We weren't on our game from the off. We probably slightly underestimated them because of how well we were doing and the previous result earlier on in the season. And we kind of learned from that. Like I said, we won the game. We went 1-0 down in the first 20 minutes. We scored 2 quick-fire goals in the second half by Mike Cole, our captain, scored 2 goals. Both of them gifted to us by the goalkeeper. One was dropped from a corner, and the second was a goal kick straight to his feet. And he took it around and put it in the bottom corner. So theoretically, we could have lost that game. However, I'd like to think we dug in, and a little bit of grit, a little bit of determination, a bit of bollocks about us, because that's the type of game previous season, we would have crumbled and we would have lost, and we would have probably ended up losing 2 or 3-0. So that for me was a difficult game. Secondly, close to that would be the Meridian game away at Charlton Park, purely because we lost, and that was the first game we lost all season. Probably could have won. I'd like to say that we matched them on our day, but if you don't take your chances at this level, then you get punished. So unfortunately, we didn't take our chances on the day, and we had them. They just took theirs. They probably had 3 shots all game and took 2 of them, beat us 2-1. So as I say, we've learned from that, and we come out stronger from that, because I think we had 2 or 3 games before lockdown had come into play, and we won all 3. So it's really difficult, because in the Kent League, you never know what type of team's going to turn up. You don't know whether the first team are going to filter down and just chuck some of their first team players into the reserves. You don't know, so you always have to be on your game, and you always have to be ready for whatever's happening. Okay. Since I've been here, I'd like to say I've been fairly lucky. I've been, like I said earlier, I inherited a team from a guy who, at the time, had a group of players that just wanted to play for fun. Obviously, there's an element of fun to football, of course there is, but if you're not here to win trophies or do bits, then I'm not interested. So, recruitment side of it is, I've always been lucky in the sense of I know someone who knows someone, or someone comes down who knows someone else. Very rarely do you get somebody who responds to an ad on Twitter, or you send out a text and you go, actually, I've got someone coming at you. Very rarely does that happen. The only time that's happened was the beginning of last season, where we had an open trials game down at Bishop's Justice. And I think we ended up recruiting 4 or 5 players across all of our Saturday and Sunday sides. And it actually worked really well. I've got to be honest, when the suggestion was first put forward, I didn't think much of it. But we recruited 1 player from that, a centre-back, and unfortunately he's now left the club for other reasons. But we did recruit a player, and it kind of opened my eyes a little bit to it. But I'm lucky I've got a good bunch of lads, a committed bunch of lads, and they're all looking forward to next season. If you know Farnborough as a club, you know we're a well-established club. We've been in circulation for 80 years, 80, 90 years, something like that. And I've always had a good spine, a good backbone to every team. And I'd like to think that my boys are an example of that. We've been strong, unfortunately, in Division 3. The teams that we were up against a couple of years ago have all left us behind. And it's now our time next season to catch up now. We need to be fighting in Division 2 to be in Division 1, because that's our long-term goal. Obviously, our first team are in the Prem. We want to have both our Saturday teams playing at the highest level that we can. You know, I would not say unrealistically, you know, we can be there. If we get to Div 2 season after next, then who knows what could happen. But that's when you start attracting those players that, you know, them serious players. Not saying we haven't got any of those, but once you get to those higher levels, you naturally attract those better players. So we need to concentrate on next season. We need to concentrate on getting out the division. I'd like a trophy as well. I had my eye on the Seven Oaks Cup last year, because that's always one that is a little bit easier than the rest of them. But a trophy's a trophy. So if we can bring home promotion, I'd like it to be first place, obviously. But if we get promoted, we're out of the bottom division in the Kent side of things. And if we can bring home a trophy, then that'd be fucking brilliant.
Hi, I'm Mike Cole, play for Farnborough Reserves, captain, centre forward, 35, still going. Yeah, last season was it was good. It was a good season. Nick brought me down the season before last. Really enjoyed it. Got my love back for the game. We finished up 3rd. Potentially we could have gone up, but obviously what gone on with the COVID, it was a big shame, to be honest. But personally, I was quite pleased with myself playing centre forward again. 13 goals, a lot of penalties. But you know, goal's a goal. But yeah, it was a good season, and looking forward to this season, getting going again. Some new players coming in, lost a few players, but things are looking good. The club itself is definitely going places. The pitch has all been revamped, new grass, seeded. It's looking immaculate. It's probably going to be the best pitch in our league, in the Division 3. Yeah, looking excited overall. Fell out of love with the game. I had a bad knee injury, tore my cruciate, and it took a long time to sort of get over that. But yeah, started playing a bit of lower league standard football, easing myself back into it. Saw Nick one day. He said, "Come down to Farnborough, good setup." I went and watched, and it looked really good setup. And I know Nick personally from a long time ago. I joined straight away, and yeah, it was good. And in terms of Nick, in terms of Farnborough, can't speak highly enough of him. He does a lot for Farnborough behind the scenes, especially with our team, and especially goes a long way. Puts himself out for people. He's a good lad, doing well as a manager, as a young manager as well. You know, he should keep going. Yeah, definitely. You know, 35. I do want to still carry on playing as long as I can play. You know, until I get told, your time's up, mate. But yeah, maybe I would. If Nick's still around, maybe I could do a bit with him, do a little joint management, or be his assistant. Yeah, I think he would like that, and I would like that as well. We could get a good thing going. That probably will happen if Nick wants to carry on. So, yeah. Yeah, it's been a frustrating 4 months. You know, got a bit lazy when the football finished. Didn't really. I like to keep myself active with work and going to the gym and playing my football. It's important for me at my age to keep fit. And well, I don't know, with the COVID thing, you know, just tried not to get too down about it. It wasn't going to go on forever, and hopefully now things are turned the corner and we're getting a bit back to normality, and we can move on from now. For next season, we've definitely got to be looking to get promotion and get out of this league. It's a must, to be honest, with the quality of players that we've got. It's a no-brainer, really. It's got to be done. For me personally, yeah, I'll be 37 next year, so yeah, I'm just going to keep going as long as I can. Yep, I'm Mike Cole, and thank you for the interview.
So, that's been the interview. I'm Nick Pitt. This is Farnborough Reserves, and I'll see you soon.